OceanGate's Titan submarine began its journey from the port of St. John's, Canada, a staggering 700 kilometers from St. John's in the North Atlantic Ocean. This is where it was set to dive into the ocean, and where the wreck of the Titanic lies beneath the cold water. The expedition began on Saturday, June 17, 2023, and the Titan was due to be submerged into the water at 8 a.m. on Sunday according to schedule. Here's the thing, before the dive, a problem was noticed with the Titan. But strangely, it was still lowered into the water, potentially risking lives. What was the problem, and why was this risk taken? Welcome back. In total, there were 5 people on this trip, including Hamish Harding, the founder of Action Aviation, who has also journeyed into space with Jeff Bezos. The second notable person was Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate, which is an American company that provides submersibles for ocean tourism. At number 3 was 77-year-old Paul Henry, who had visited the Titanic before. He was an expert on the shipwreck, and he had a lot of knowledge of the scattered parts of the Titanic. And finally, Pakistani business tycoon Prince Dawood was part of this submarine with his son Sulaiman. Hamish Harding posted his last post on the internet before diving on the 17th of June. He said that his dive has been delayed due to cold weather. Tomorrow morning, when the weather is better for a short time, we will dive. These 5 people were going to see the wreck of the famous Titanic to fulfill their hobby. After sinking in 1912, efforts to find it continued for the next several years, but this work was not so easy due to the harsh condition of the Atlantic Ocean. Then in 1985, the wreckage of RMS Titanic was finally found on the ocean floor. The Titanic had left behind so many questions that it was time to find answers. Dozens of expeditions were arranged, with experts and researchers from different countries turning to the Titanic shipwreck. Canadian filmmaker James Cameron visited the Titanic wreckage multiple times in 1995 and then released the Titanic movie in 1997. Such was the success of the Titanic movie that it became a dream for millions of people to see the Titanic wreckage for themselves. Now, this work is not just for research purposes. Even tourists have started going to the ship's wreck site. They say it is harder to go deep into the ocean than to go into space. The main reason for this is the pressure of the water. The Titanic wreckage is 4,000 meters or 4 kilometers under the sea. To imagine this depth, you have to look at the Burj Khalifa and realize that the Titanic wreckage is approximately 5 times lower than the height of the Burj Khalifa under the sea. The water pressure at this depth is 5,800 psi, which is the same pressure that an entire elephant would exert on just 1 square inch of a human body, not the whole body. So now you can guess how many square inches there will be in a submarine and how much more pressure would be exerted on it. The submarine's journey began at noon on Sunday, June 18th, 2023. Normally it takes 2 hours to reach the Titanic, but after 1 hour and 45 minutes, the mothership Polar Prince waiting above lost contact with the submarine. If it took 2 hours to reach the Titanic, then losing contact just 15 minutes early suggests that the submarine must have gotten very close to the Titanic. At this ocean depth, sunlight is impossible to reach and it's always extremely dark. Losing the wireless signal at such a depth is normal, so initially, this matter was not taken seriously. The entire trip was supposed to be 7 hours in total, from noon to 7 o'clock in the evening, at which time they were supposed to return. But when there was still no contact from the Titanic by 7 o'clock and they had not returned, the crew on the mothership above started to panic. The Canadian research vessel Polar Prince started the search for Titan. At 9:40, they sought help from the US Coast Guard. The following day, Monday, the US and Canadian ships and planes began an extensive search operation across the entire area. They not only scoured the surface of the sea but also ventured underwater with the help of sonar scanning. Commercial vessels in the area were also ordered to maintain vigilance. The search persisted for the next 2 days, but the Titan was nowhere to be found. However, a ray of hope surfaced. On Wednesday, June 21st at 6 a.m., the search team heard sounds from deep within the water using underwater radars. The Arovis was promptly sent to the source of the sounds, but there was still no sign of the Titan. Time was of the essence, as the submarine's oxygen supply was restricted to just 96 hours or 4 days. and 3 of those days had already passed. Nonetheless, the search teams from the US, Canada, and France remained steadfast. On Wednesday, June 21st, at 6 a.m., the search team heard some sounds from deep within the waters using underwater radars. The Arovis was quickly dispatched to the location of the sounds, but there was still no news of the Titan. The pressure was mounting since the Titan only had a limited oxygen supply of 96 hours or 4 days, and 3 of those days had already elapsed. However, the search teams from the US, Canada, and France didn't lose heart. On Thursday, the 27th of June at 12 noon, the ROVs were sent to the wreckage of the Titanic. The sight that was seen after reaching there was truly heartbreaking. At 3:48 p.m., the ROV, which had reached the stool of the Titanic, saw a part of Titan's tail lying just 1,600 feet away from the Titanic, which had gone to see the wreckage of the Titanic. Now its debris has become headlines all over the world. It only means that the submarine could not bear the pressure of water and exploded in the depths of the sea. As this news created a stir all over the world, many questions were raised on the safety of Ocean Gate. The CEO of Ocean Gate, Stockton Rush, who himself lost his life in this sentence, said in 2021 that he knows that he has broken some rules while making Titan, because he has made Titan not from steel but from aviation-grade carbon fiber, but he wanted to do some new innovations in this industry. Then carbon fiber was used by replacing steel for the first time before launch. Titan was also tested at a pressure of 500 to 1,000 psi, in which it was passed. But experts believe that thousands of types of forces fall on the submarine inside the ocean, in which there is not only pressure but also the flow of water, which is created due to waves. Apart from darkness, it can also be that a heavy stone or sea can collide with the McLux submarine. In any case, one reason for Titan's destruction was its carbon fiber solution, but the other reason was the already existing cracks in it. Yes, Titan Submarine was also taken to a businessman named Carl Stanley in 2019, and at that time it was still operating the CEO of Ocean Gate. Carl said that during that journey when he was going down, he heard the sound of cracking from the body of Titan. One point I was actually even able to drive the submarine towards deeper water. By the sound of the cracking getting louder, at that time he heard more on this sound. He didn't pay much attention because he had full trust in the CEO of Ocean Gate, who had designed the submarine himself. But after the accident, he told CNN that maybe that voice was a sign that Titan's body couldn't withstand the water pressure. If this was true, then there's no doubt that the cracks in Titan's body had started appearing by 2018. In the Lok Sabha elections of 2014, an executive at Ocean Gate criticized Titan's carbon fiber body, stating that only a few seconds before the explosion would the problem be detected, and tragically, that's what happened. The depth at which the Titan exploded, according to experts, it would have taken just 0.3 seconds for it to explode. We hope that you'll like and share this video. Thank you for your lovely comments. See you in the next great video.